let's talk about sex. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we could just do a super casual video together. I'm sitting on the floor in my living room. I have my Starbucks coffee. We're just gonna hang out and talk about breaking some sex myths, okay? So I have my laptop here, so I'll be reading off of this a little bit and then kind of breaking stuff down and explaining it. So the first topic that I want to talk about is the theory of popping cherries or losing one's virginity or hymen breaking. This is a really well-believed myth. A lot of people think that the hymen actually breaks once one loses their virginity, which we'll talk about the whole virginity topic. That's going to be a whole video in itself, just because that's a really big topic and I want to dispel that whole myth. But as far as breaking the hymen doesn't break and it doesn't go anywhere and doesn't disappear. Sometimes the hymen can tear a bit. It can tear during intercourse, it can tear during masturbation, it can tear during exercise, it can tear during inserting a tampon or taking one out. So it's not something that is only related to intercourse. It can happen. In a lot of cases, it doesn't even happen during intercourse. The thing about that is it relates a lot back to the idea that when you have sex for the first time that you're losing something, and you're not losing anything. You're not losing your hymen, just engaging in a new activity. And the hymen, like I said, it doesn't go away. It's always going to be there. So that is the first myth. The second myth that I want to talk about is the idea that masturbation is harmful. In reality, masturbation actually is really beneficial to one's health. There's a lot of health benefits to masturbating. It is really good for mental health. It releases endorphins in your brain. It can help with anxiety, with depression. It can help falling asleep. It's very good for aiding in headaches, for menstrual cramps. So it has a lot of health benefits on top of just being able to know your body well and knowing what is pleasurable for you and what's not pleasurable for you, and knowing that for yourself so that you're able to talk and communicate with your partner, and so they know how best to please you and make you feel good. Animals masturbate. A lot of mammals do, humans alike. It's something that's really stigmatized, and it's stigmatized mostly for people who have vaginas. It's something that people kind of only associate with cis men, which that's totally not true. They're not the only ones that masturbate. Yeah, so that's the other myth that I want to talk about. So that's myth number 2. So the third myth that I wanted to discuss with you today is the myth that sex is only good sex if it ends in orgasm. So this isn't true. A lot of people put this pressure on each other and on their partners that sex should always end in orgasm for one or both people, otherwise it's not successful. When in reality, the orgasm is such a small, minuscule part of the act of intercourse. There's everything from before, the teasing, the flirting, then you have the foreplay, then you have the engaging in actual intercourse, and there's all different types of intercourse too. We'll get into that in another video. And then also the aftercare after intercourse. So the intimacy that you experience can all be pleasurable, it can all be enjoyable, and without putting that barrier of you need to have an orgasm for this to be good, you're setting yourself up to not enjoy the whole experience and to maybe feel as though you have failed. When a lot of people, especially people who have vaginas, are not able to orgasm every time, if at all. So that can be something that you explore with masturbation, like I mentioned earlier, as well as something to explore with your partner, and just try to find out what feels good for you and don't put that pressure on yourself. The other myth I want to discuss is the myth that older people don't have sex, specifically people older than 60. This just isn't true. Older people have sex just like you and I, just like younger people. They are totally able to, they are totally allowed to have sexual desires even at their age. And I think people assume that because they think that older people aren't able to have sex. Obviously, everybody has different abilities and different comforts, and their sex is going to look different than your sex, and their sex is going to look different than my sex, and it's all going to be different because it's what works for them. And if we're talking about barriers that a lot of older people experience commonly, one of them is going to be erectile dysfunction. Just as you get older, a lot of cis men start to develop erectile dysfunction, which can be helped with a doctor. There's different kinds of medications that you can use with that. There's different devices and tools that can help with that, as well as devices and tools that can help maintain erections. And then as far as people with vaginas, they tend to, after menopause, can experience vaginal dryness. And that's something that you can easily fix with some lubricant. You can find lubricants everywhere. You can find them online, in stores. You can get them at Walgreens. So those are really readily available. And as far as the idea that older people don't have sex, I think it's just stigmatized. Like a lot of things around sex are stigmatized. And I would hope that older people who want to have sex don't feel shameful for that desire, because it's a really natural human desire to have. The last myth that I want to talk about today is that people with disabilities or different abilities aren't able to have sex or don't want to have sex. This just isn't true. Everybody is allowed to have sexual desires regardless of ability, regardless of age. People have sex, and it's just something that is a normal human experience. And it's really unfortunate that it's so stigmatized for people with disabilities. And because of that, like, if you even get sex ed in high school or middle school at all, a lot of the states don't even have sex ed, but if you get it at all, it doesn't even discuss how sex can look different for different people, especially people with disabilities or different abilities. It looks different for everyone, and maybe it's a little bit different than the way you have sex, but that doesn't invalidate their experience at all. So that's probably all we're gonna talk about today. So I'm gonna end the video here. This is kind of just a little teaser into the channel and things we're gonna talk about. I wanted to make this one super casual, like I said. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Please come back. I'm gonna try to post weekly videos. I'm gonna try to get one out maybe this weekend, so we'll see if that happens. So if you wanna go ahead and like this video, leave a comment if you want, and then you can go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell if you wanna see more of my content. Like I said, I'll be posting weekly on here, and I really look forward to seeing you again. See you soon.